the Nyingma volume, second Nyingma volume. So as your readers will know, the Treasury of Precious Instructions covers the 8 practice lineages of Tibet, and 2 volumes are devoted to the Nyingma tradition. And it's not clear what governed Kongtrul's decisions as to what to include in any of these collections, but as far as the Nyingma volumes are concerned, he concentrated on the 3 inner tantras, which I suppose, according to the 9-vehicle tantra system of the Nyingma tradition, I suppose because he regarded it as the most typical, or the most, I wouldn't say exclusive, because the Dzogchen teachings exist outside the Nyingma tradition, but it is particularly regarded as the sort of innermost treasure of the Nyingma teachings. So the first 2 of the 2 volumes, the first volume. So the three inner tantras, of course, are Mahayoga, Anuyoga, and Ati-yoga. The first volume concentrates on Mahayoga, the generation stage practices, Anuyoga, the perfection stage practice, and includes some material on the mind class of the Great Perfection. In the case of the second volume, the emphasis is placed particularly on Nyingtik, on the innermost class of the Ati-yoga. I suppose, to cut a long story short, one could say that the appearance of the Dzogchen teachings in Tibet really come from 2 main sources, namely Vimalamitra and Guru Rinpoche, with the addition on the side of Varatsana. And the Vima Nyingtik, or the Nyingtik teachings coming from Vimalamitra, are preserved in the oral and the oral collections, the Nyingma Kama, whereas the Dzogchen teachings coming from through Guru Rinpoche are preserved in Terma, treasure teachings. Obviously, Kongtrul was particularly drawn to the Vima Nyingtik side of this particular transmission. But one could say that, in fact, both of them, both the Vima Nyingtik and what's known as the Khandra Nyingtik, the teachings coming through Guru Rinpoche, were unified by Longchenpa himself. And to the Vima Nyingtik collection, he added upwards of about 30 commentaries in what is now called the Innermost Essence of the Teacher, or the Lama Yantik, and about 50 commentaries on the commentarial texts on the Khandra Nyingtik coming through Guru Rinpoche, which are known as the Innermost Essence of the Dakini, or the Khandra Yantik. So these are the 4 parts of Nyingtik, the Nyingtik Yapshi, to which he added a 5th commentary, bringing them all together, called the Zamoyanti, the Innermost Essence. So in this particular volume, it begins with the parting testaments of the Buddhas and the Dzogchen patriarchs. And then, for the most part, the book is taken from the Vima Nyingtik and the Lama Yantik, the Innermost Essence of the Master. And I think there is also untakes taken from the Innermost Essence. Oddly enough, although in Kongtrul's general introduction, he included an element taken from the Khandra Nyingtik coming through Guru Rinpoche, but for reasons that are unknown to us, it doesn't appear in this volume and has been replaced by a text by Guru Rinpoche. So, in practice, this book is really connected with the Vima Nyingtik teachings. What more can I say? It contains a very important commentary by Kongtrul himself, called the Nyingtik Teachings, Mother and Child. The mother being the actual teachings of Vimalamitra, and the child being Longchenpa's own commentary. So this is a complete presentation of the Dzogchen practice through Fletcher and Togo, which is very much treasured in the Nyingma tradition, and that was actually transmitted here in Dordogne to the people who were in the first Chanteloube retreat by Jamgön Kongtrul Lodrö Taye. And fortunately, Helena had kept all her notes taken from these teachings, and so they were invaluable for the translation of this Nyingtik Mapu, this Nyingtik mother and child. Of course, when one talks about Dzogchen, when one talks about Nyingtik teachings, when one translates these texts, of course, they are not for the general reader. They are very technical, they're very profound, and they don't make easy reading. And the reason why we took part in the translation has been really according to Padmakara's general approach, which is to produce texts for practitioners rather than scholarship, rather than scholars. Of course, they are the subject of much scholarship, but our concern has been mainly to provide material for people who are wanting to practice. And when it comes to the great perfection, of course, that's a difficult point, because one has to, so many factors have to come together to make it possible to, first of all, to recount the teachings and then be able to practice them under the guidance of someone who is a qualified teacher. All that is very difficult to get together. So it's important, I suppose, that these texts be translated as part of the general project of the Damyoksa. But as I say, when one talks about it, it's not really as a kind of advertisement for sales. We hope very much that these texts reach the people for whom they are intended and for whom they will be useful, but with all the necessary caveats and warnings about, the importance of samaya and connection with authentic teachers and, committed and devoted practice. So, there are many more things one could say about this book. One can say, although with the exception of this text, of the text I just mentioned by Kongtrul, the vast proportion of the book is actually text of Longchenpa himself. So there are ritual texts and other commentaries. There is even the meditational guide to the Finding Rest in the Nature of the Mind, which is a very beautiful summary of the teachings of that text, ending up with the Dzogchen teachings in the conclusion. And there is also the elements taken from an entire trilogy by Longchenpa known as the Röntru Kosum, the trilogy of openness and freedom. It's the way we translate Drolwa. So all that is present in this book. And as I say, we both hope that it will find the people that, will be able to profit from it.